Hello, everyone. My name is Melissa Farsang, and I'm with the New Jersey Hope and Healing Project through Rutgers University Graduate School for Applied and Professional Psychology. And today I'm coming to you to talk about coping and self-care in isolation. So I'm going to be talking about the ways that we can take care of ourselves during this pandemic after we have been affected by so much. So first, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about our program and the services that we offer. So as I mentioned before, I'm coming to you from the New Jersey Hope and Healing Project, and we provide short-term counseling, short-term crisis counseling, emotional support, informational webinars such as this one, and referrals to additional resources, right? So if we can't provide you the services that you need, we can help connect you with those services. And you can visit us at our website to learn more about this and connect with the services that we offer. So I encourage you to do that. So today we're going to be talking about how you take care of yourself. And this can be very individual, right? Everyone has different ways that they take care of themselves and different things that work when they're not feeling well. So with this pandemic, we're impacted in many ways and have a lot of troubling reactions because of that, right? So social isolation, fear of illness, disconnection from people that we usually see, changes in our daily routine, these can all affect us in negative ways. We may be having negative reactions to the many changes the pandemic has caused. However, there are coping skills and self-care techniques that we can do to help combat these stressors. So I would like you to think about the ways that you take care of yourself now, or the ways that you've taken care of yourself in the past when you're going through a really hard time. Right, so self-care and coping can mean a lot of different things. This can be maintaining ourselves, right? It can be very simple things such as taking care of our essential needs, like eating, maintaining our hygiene, our sleep, our physical health. And they can also be things that kind of add happiness, add energy, add to our lives, boost our mood, right? So keeping ourselves busy in some way, making ourselves feel good. And these things might have felt much harder lately. Since the pandemic started, it might be more difficult to do the things that we usually do to take care of ourselves. So I'd like you to take a minute, reflect on the ways and the things that you do to take care of yourself now. And if that's hard, try to reflect on things you've done in the past to take care of yourself. And as we go through this presentation, keep those in mind. Keep in mind what works for you and what else you might be able to add that can help you more. So I'm going to talk about some different things that we can do to help us cope. So one thing is moving our body, right? Getting any kind of exercise that we can in order for our bodies to move around, to kind of keep energized, bring us energy, make us feel less stressed. So some things that can be really accessible are seated stretches, right? So while you're sitting, moving your joints, maybe bringing your arms up, stretching your neck. You can lift your legs, roll your ankles, bringing any kind of movement that feels comfortable to you, even while you're sitting, can be really beneficial. And if more intense movement is accessible to you, you might want to do some gentle yoga, take a walk if that's accessible, be in the sun, be in the fresh air, can also be really helpful. You can also use muscle relaxation. So what this is focusing on a specific muscle and tensing it and relaxing it as you breathe, right? So one thing you can do is start from your toes and use different muscles, maybe starting from your toes, going up your leg, up your torso, down your arms. And as you breathe in, you tense that muscle. And as you breathe out, you relax it. So this can kind of bring movement and blood flow to our muscles, and also help us relax a little bit. You also want to think about doing things that you enjoy or used to enjoy, right? So listening to music that you enjoy or a podcast or something is a really easy thing you can incorporate to your day while you're doing other things in order to kind of promote some more joy. You also might want to think about activities or hobbies that you enjoy, that you used to enjoy, that are something that you can still do during these times, right? So drawing, painting, creating any kind of art. You might like writing, cooking, singing, or playing an instrument, doing games or puzzles. And this kind of brings us to keeping your mind busy, exercising your mind. During this time, there's so many ways that we can learn online, right? There's webinars, there's seminars, there's free online classes you can take, there's videos you can watch to learn new skills and learn about new things. And keeping your mind busy and learning new things gives us the stimulation that we're so often lacking during this time. Everything kind of blends together, right? We're seeing a lot of the same things. We're doing a lot of the same things every single day. So any extra stimulation that we can bring to our minds can be really beneficial. And this can also come through reading or listening to audiobooks as some examples. So you also want to be able to ease anxiety when it comes up, because as we know, this time has been very stressful for a lot of people. So some ways that you can ease your anxiety can be breathing exercises. You might do things like counting your breaths, right? Making sure you're breathing in and out for the same amount of time. You also might focus on a specific part of your body while you're breathing. So you might pay attention to your chest rising and falling as you breathe. Or you might pay attention to your stomach expanding and contracting as you breathe in and out. So taking a moment to recognize these things and really focus on your breath. And our breath, right, is kind of always accessible to us. When we're feeling overwhelmed, when we're feeling anxious, it's always something that we can come back to and focus on to calm ourselves down. You might also do mindfulness activities. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this later in the presentation, but there are many things that you can look up online, guided meditation, mindfulness practices that can help you feel more grounded when you're anxious, and can also be a really helpful thing to incorporate into your daily routine. So after a disaster happens, there are three things that we want to focus on promoting that have kind of been disrupted from that disaster. And this can be any disaster, but in the context we're talking about now, this pandemic. So things that are influenced are our sense of control, the connections we have with other people, and our sense of coherence about the world. Right? So you can do different things to promote each of these areas and help you feel better following something so intense as this pandemic. So control, right? In any way that you can, we want to promote control. This pandemic has made a lot of us feel very out of control, but you can do things to promote that. So such as planning your daily activities. If you know what's going to be happening during your day, you feel more in control. Establishing routines that you do every day gives you a sense of control and consistency. It adds predictability to your day so that when unpredictable things that are out of our control happen, we at least have those things that we can control to fall back on. You might also want to adjust your news intake, right? And just the negative input that often comes from the news. And recognizing that you might not be able to cut out the news altogether, but you might be able to limit the amount of time or the time of day that you watch the news. For example, the news could be distressing before you go to sleep. You might want to listen to the news in the morning instead. Keeping a journal can also help us feel more in control. It can be a part of our routine, writing in a journal every day. It can also give us a greater sense of agency over what happens to us every day. If we write about and talk about and reflect on what happens, it can help us feel more in control. You also want to maintain regular eating and sleeping schedules as much as possible. So this can include eating at similar times during the day, going to sleep and waking up at similar times can really help with your routine of eating and sleeping. And that's going to put your your body on a routine and again be something that you can fall back on when other things are out of control. So connection, especially during this disaster, this pandemic, we feel increasingly disconnected from others. But we have to shift, we have to adapt the ways that we connect with people. During this time, we have to be a lot more intentional about how we're connecting and the ways that we're connecting. Before the pandemic, we had routines, we had things we did, we went out, we saw people, and connection kind of naturally happened. We saw our families, we saw our friends, we saw the kind of people in our everyday lives, but that has shifted. Again, we have to be more intentional. So this can include scheduling calls with loved ones, telephone calls, video calls, connecting over social media. There's all these kind of resources we can access. In addition, we're used to doing things with people, right? We're used to being together and kind of connecting in a way that's more than just talking. So you might want to plan not only to speak with each other, but to do activities together, play games, even get things done together in your separate houses. So one type of meditation can also help us feel more connected to the people in our lives and to the world, right? And this is called the loving kindness meditation. There's many versions of this, and you can Google this and find the guided meditation to do. And even when we don't have people around us that we love and we care about, using this guided meditation can help us feel more connected. There are also many online communities. One example is AARP. They have classes, community boards, news and updates. They have specific pages for retirees who are Black and African American, Asian and Pacific Islander, Hispanic or Latina, Indigenous people, and members of the LGBT community, where you can connect with other people who share those identities with you and have that sense of community online. So another thing that has been altered during this pandemic is our sense of ourselves in the world, the coherence that we might have felt on a daily basis. When so much shifts, we have to kind of react to how we view the world, how we view ourselves in the world when so much is unknown, uncertain, and our kind of sense of the world might have really shifted. So we might want to use mindfulness, especially if we incorporate this into our daily routine, can help us feel a lot more coherent, a lot more grounded, can help us stay present in the moment and be present with what's happening instead of worrying about the past, worrying about the future, which is so easy to do during this time. Through mindfulness, you can observe your thoughts and emotions from an outside perspective without judgment, right? So this can help us not get so consumed by our thoughts and our feelings because they are so overwhelming. So practicing mindfulness, trying to stay present, can really help with our sense of coherence about the world. So just here are some references, and I really thank you for joining me today and doing something for yourself to help you cope, to help you take care of yourself better. And I can't cover everything in this presentation, but I really hope that you got some ideas, some new perspectives on ways that you can take care of yourself during this time. And coming here and watching this presentation, you're ready on the right track. So thank you so much for being with me today, and I hope you enjoy your day. Bye.